In January 2015, Target announced it would shut down every single store in Canada. All 133 locations. Gone. 17,600 employees were laid off. $7 billion vaporized. The kicker? Canadians had been begging Target to come to Canada for years. They loved the brand. They crossed the border to shop there. When Target finally arrived in 2013, customers lined up outside. Then they walked in and found empty shelves, missing products, and prices higher than what they paid in the United States. Within 2 years, one of America's most beloved retailers had executed the fastest, most expensive retail failure in Canadian history. This is the story of how Target turned guaranteed demand into a catastrophic collapse. Target wasn't just another big box retailer. Founded in 1962, it had carved out something rare in American retail, a brand people actually liked. Target was cheaper than department stores, but more stylish than Walmart. It was the place where middle-class Americans could buy decent furniture, trendy clothes, and groceries without feeling like they were slumming it. By 2011, Target operated 1,763 stores across the United States. It generated $69.9 billion in annual revenue. It controlled roughly 8 to 9% of the United States retail market. Brand trust surveys consistently ranked it in the top tier. The company had built one of the most efficient big box supply chains in the country. Target's formula was deceptively simple: private label products, tight supplier relationships, data-driven inventory systems, and a carefully balanced price-to-style ratio. In the United States, that machine printed money. Canadians noticed. Millions crossed the border every year, filling their cars with Target goods. For years, they asked the same question: when is Target coming here? From the outside, expansion looked inevitable. By 2011, Target faced a new kind of problem. The US market was running out of room. Same-store sales growth had slowed to low single digits. Walmart was aggressively expanding its price leadership, forcing Target to compete on margins it didn't want to defend. Amazon was beginning to reshape consumer expectations around convenience and product availability. Every new US store opening delivered diminishing returns. The math was simple. Target had built its empire on growth, and Wall Street still expected it. But there was less territory left to conquer at home. The company needed a new frontier. Canada looked perfect. 35 million people, a wealthy, urbanized population, and cultural and linguistic similarity to the US. No domestic equivalent to Target's cheap chic positioning. Walmart Canada existed, but it skewed utilitarian, not aspirational. Canadian consumers were already familiar with the brand and actively wanted it. Industry analysts called Canada a natural fit. The timing seemed ideal. In 2011, Zellers, a struggling Canadian discount chain owned by Hudson's Bay Company, was collapsing. It operated over 200 stores in prime retail locations across the country. Hudson's Bay wanted out. Target saw an opportunity. Here was ready-made real estate in a market that wanted them. The pressure wasn't existential, but it was real. Growth had to come from somewhere. Standing still meant falling behind. In January 2011, Target made the announcement. They would enter Canada. Not with a handful of test stores, not with a regional pilot. They would go all in. Target's plan was breathtaking in its ambition. The company would acquire the leases to 189 former Zellers locations. It would renovate and open 133 stores. It would launch simultaneously in every major province, from British Columbia to Ontario to Quebec. And it would complete the entire rollout in under 2 years. The logic seemed sound. A national presence would create instant brand legitimacy. Marketing efficiency would improve with scale. Competitors would not have time to mount a defensive response. Most importantly, Target's United States systems could be replicated north of the border. The company had spent decades perfecting its supply chain, inventory management, and merchandising formulas. Leadership believed they could copy and paste that infrastructure into Canada. Alternatives were discussed. Some executives suggested opening a dozen pilot stores first to test the market and work out the operational kinks. Others proposed a regional approach, launching in Ontario first, then expanding westward as capacity allowed. Both options were rejected. Leadership believed delay was the real risk. Competitors might adapt. Consumer enthusiasm might cool. The window of opportunity might close. Speed was the priority. They assumed operational problems could be fixed after launch. Target invested heavily. The company spent $4 billion acquiring the leases and renovating the stores. It built 3 massive distribution centers from scratch. It hired 17,600 employees. It launched a major marketing campaign promoting the arrival of cheap cheese to Canada. On March 5, 2013, the first Target Canada stores opened their doors. Customers showed up in droves. What they found inside would determine whether Target's gamble paid off. The problems were immediate and impossible to hide. Customers walked into sparkling new stores and found half-empty shelves. Entire aisles were empty. Everyday essentials were missing. Products advertised online were unavailable in store. And the prices that were visible shocked people. Items that cost $10 at US Target locations were priced at $12 or $13 in Canada, even after accounting for exchange rates and taxes. Canadians had expected price parity. They got a premium instead. The issue was not demand, it was infrastructure. Behind the scenes, Target Canada was collapsing under its own weight. The company had built a brand new supply chain that relied on unproven inventory management software. Product data was corrupted before launch. Items were mislabeled. Quantities were wrong. Distribution centers shipped the wrong products to the wrong stores or shipped nothing at all. Store employees had no visibility into what was arriving or when. They could not answer customer questions because the system could not tell them what inventory existed. Within months, customer satisfaction scores collapsed. Foot traffic dropped sharply. Social media filled with photos of barren aisles and complaints about high prices. Canadian media openly mocked the brand. The Globe and Mail ran a headline asking why Target Canada could not get it right. CTV News featured segments on disappointed shoppers. The contrast with Walmart Canada was devastating. Walmart's shelves were full. Their prices were competitive. Their supply chain worked. Target had no excuse. Financially, the damage was staggering. Target Canada lost approximately $1 billion in its first year of operations. It lost another $1 billion in its second year. Market share remained stuck below 3%, far below the break-even threshold of 6 to 8%. The company had projected profitability within 3 years. By mid-2014, internal forecasts showed no credible path to even covering operating costs. In January 2015, less than 2 years after opening, Target CEO announced the decision. The company would exit Canada entirely. All 133 stores would close. All 17,600 employees would be laid off. The total cost, including write-downs and closure expenses, reached $7 billion. Target's stock dropped 4% on the news. The empire had misfired, and it had done so in full view of the world. Target's leadership defended the decision to exit quickly. CEO Brian Cornell, who took over in mid-2014, said they were losing $1 billion a year, and he could not see a scenario where they would make money in Canada in the foreseeable future. The speed of the collapse forced a reckoning. What went wrong? First, Target launched nationally before its supply chain worked. The company opened 133 stores in 24 months while simultaneously building distribution centers and implementing untested inventory software. There was no time to stress test the system, and no opportunity to identify and fix problems before customers saw them. Walmart Canada, by contrast, entered the market in 1994 after acquiring 122 stores from Woolco. It spent years refining operations before expanding further. Target should have piloted a dozen stores, validated the logistics, and scaled gradually. This violated a fundamental rule: operational readiness beats strategic ambition. Second, Target assumed brand love would override poor execution. Leadership believed Canadians wanted Target so badly they would tolerate empty shelves and high prices while the company fixed its problems. They were wrong. Brand affinity does not survive bad experiences. Canadians did not want the Target name. They wanted the Target experience: good style, low prices, and reliable availability. When the stores failed to deliver that, loyalty evaporated. Target should have earned trust locally by matching United States pricing and ensuring full shelves from day one. This violated another principle: brand experience does not travel automatically, experiences do. Third, Target ignored local reality. The company used United States pricing models that did not account for Canadian supplier costs and consumer expectations. It relied on a distribution network designed for a market 10 times larger. It did not localize assortment decisions or adapt merchandising to regional preferences. Walmart Canada succeeded because it localized. It worked with Canadian suppliers. It adjusted pricing to reflect local competition. Target treated Canada as an extension of the United States and paid the price. This violated the most basic rule: global strategy must bend to local execution. The lesson is clear: scale is not a substitute for execution. Growth strategies do not fail because the idea is wrong. They fail when leadership confuses confidence with readiness. Target had a willing market, a strong brand, and billions of dollars in capital. What it did not have was a functioning supply chain. In modern business, how you launch matters more than where you expand. Target returned to focusing on its US operations and recovered financially. But the Canadian misfire remains a monument to the danger of prioritizing speed over systems. $7 billion bought one lesson: no amount of brand love can compensate for empty shelves.